My name is Gabriella Karin. I am originally from Czechoslovakia, what's today's Slovak Republic. I'm from Bratislava. And I was just a young girl when the World War II started. I was 8 years old. Well, as you know, Czechoslovakia was a democratic country, the only democratic country in Europe this time. And we lived in Bratislava. My grandmother lived with us. I had a very happy childhood. My parents were loving people. I was the only child to my parents. Actually, I was the only girl in both sides of my parents and my mother's and my father's family. We spent lovely time always together with family and friends. Before the war, my grandma, she was with me because my mother was working. My parents owned a deli store, and it was located next to the police station. And because of the location, they knew every policeman. What happened that when the World War II started and the deportation started, my mother was able to join the underground, the resistance. And one of the policemen gave her the list of the people who will be taken away. And she was able to contact and give it to the underground. They divided the list between themselves and helped Jewish people to survive. My mother was a school for bookkeeping. This is what she was doing before she got married. My father had the business administration schooling, and they met in Nitra. It's a different town, and they moved to Bratislava when they got married. They had a chance to get a contract from the local hospital to bring eggs from Poland. And I'm smiling because it was in summer and they had to store the eggs and they really didn't know what they are doing. They put them in gypsum and they got all rotten. It was a smelly disaster. So after that, they opened a delicatessen store that was located next to the police station. And this is what they had all their life. Well, I know because my mother took me with her many, many times when she went to caution people. We had curfew in Slovakia against Jewish people. And after 6 p.m., we were not supposed to be on the street. So she was hoping with a little girl, we won't be stopped. So I went with her. I will never forget until I live a scene in front of my eyes when we went to my mother's cousin. She was on the list, her husband, her old mother, and my second cousin, a 4-year-old little boy, was also on the list. And we were telling them, for sure, tonight at this address, they will come and take you away. And they started to cry. And they told us, we have nowhere to go. We already went from one place to another. We will work. and we hope we will survive. We never saw them again. Next day, my mother went to the railroad station where all the people, Jewish people, were gathered to put on the trains. My mother knew the man who was overseeing the whole Jewish problem there. His name was Vashina. It was a friend of my parents, a neighbor. She approached him and begged him to give the little boy to her. Said, what do you need him? He cannot work. What to do with him? He looked down at her and he said, if you don't disappear this minute, I will put you in the wagons too. So what could she do? She left. That was a friend. You know, in my mind, I always thought, do I remember it right? When I was first time back in Slovakia, there is a Jewish museum. I went there, and there I saw that Vashina was the man who was doing the deportation, actual work by the trains. I said, oh my God, I remember it right. You know, the years and years. After all, I was young, and but I remember it. I remember the man. I remember his face, whom my mother gave the papers that she received from the policeman. I knew his name, but I didn't know what happened to him afterward.